the bloodline are over. I'm Ollie Davis. I'm joined by Luco and DAD. Well, we have just watched WWE King of the Ring.
Night of Champions
2023 and our wonderful live event. We've just had everybody here going crazy. Please go over to the WrestleTalk podcast channel and relive some of those crazy moments, like Asuka becoming the
Raw Women's Champion.
On SmackDown.
I could not believe that Asuka won the belt.
We had Seth Rollins, rather predictably, becoming the inaugural World Heavyweight Champion. Mm-hmm. And most dramatically, in the main event, right at the end, after a wonderfully paced, slow Roman heat magnetine style,
so good,
the Usos came out and they turned. Well, they accidentally superkicked Solo Sikoa.
Yeah, I was going to say, order of events. So they were brawling on the outside, and it looked like that Solo and Roman were setting to put Sammy through the table, or it might be Kevin Owens through the table. It was one of the good guys through the table.
It was KO.
And all of a sudden, the Usos showed up out of nowhere and started laying out Kevin Owens. And they then rolled into the ring, some super kicks to Sami Zayn, another super kick to Sami Zayn, and they went to do the double super kick, but Sammy moved out of the way, and they kicked Solo Sikoa. Oh. And it was at that point that Roman Reigns turned round, and so all Roman saw was just the super kick to Solo.
And Roman started pushing Jimmy's face. He started pushing Jay's face. And Jay's like, I'm conflicted, but I'm obedient. I'm conflicted, but I'm obedient. You know what Jay does all the time.
What we've had for the last year.
But then it wasn't Jay who turned on Roman. Roman turns around straight into a super kick from Jimmy Uso.
A perfect swerve. Because it's everyone's been waiting for. When's Jay going to turn? It was Jimmy that pulled the trigger. And so we had an ultra chat in because obviously we couldn't hear it because the crowd here were going insane for this. Jimmy said to Jay before the second super kick, I'm going to do what you should have done ages ago.
Wow. I mean, it just goes to prove that blood is thicker than less of the same blood.
Because they're cousins.
Because the Usos are brothers.
Yeah.
They're the most brotherly of brothers. They're identical twins. Mm-hmm. But Roman is a cousin.
Oh, I see.
It's one removed. I still can't marry them.
Yet.
Come on, it's 2023.
We're supposed to be a progressive place now.
But yeah, it was a remarkable swerve because it is not what, first of all, it's not what you expect, sort of the definition of a swerve, but it's significantly more interesting and complex.
Particularly because when Jimmy super kicked Roman, and did it, even the second time, Jay still did not think it was the right thing to do. He still had that conflicted emotion of, we should be turning on Roman Reigns because he is a bad one and he is emotionally manipulating us. Sami Zayn is right. But he's still loyal. He still needs that family. He still wants the family unit. He wants that group dynamic. So when Jimmy turned on Roman, he was like, what are you doing? He had the exact same reaction to Jimmy that he had to Sami.
Yeah, he was caught between the two things because Jay did go towards Roman twice. Was it to attack him some more? Was it to help him up and beat up Jimmy? We don't know. Jay is still kind of caught in this Schrodinger's cat of turning. And Jimmy kept on pulling them away, like, no, you're my brother, or I'm protecting you. I'm having to be the bigger brother, even though they're exact same age because they're twins. And Jimmy, sort of escorted Jay.
One of them has to be born first.
Yeah, one of them has to be.
Yeah.
But Jimmy escorted Jay away, and they walked up the ramp, leaving Solo to just eat the pin.
He did. He got stunned, and then he got haluva kicked, and then the referee slid back in. There was a ref bump, of course there was. It was a Roman Reigns main event.
Who and which ref was it? TNA's own
Rudy Charles,
the greatest referee
and
in wrestling.
An incredible spear he took as well.
Yeah, because, there's ref bumps and there's ref bumps. there's ref bump and there's ref bump.
I'm hitting you with my finish.
I'm just going to do a finisher on a referee. Not a oops.
Spear.
So it was a really, really fun main event. we'll look back on this tomorrow, I think, and watch the actual crowd reactions to go, oh, it was a bit naff. But here it was a special time.
Honestly, here, when Jimmy superkicked Roman, this place came unglued. People were jumping up and down. People were cheering. People were just going absolutely ballistic. The second superkick had the exact same reaction. The final shots of these shows, you've got the Usos up on the ramp. Solo is laid out, and Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn are standing on the turnbuckles celebrating with their titles, while Roman is on the floor on his butt, crestfallen that it's all fallen apart around him.
Because where do you go now? This was kind of what we thought we'd get 2 months ago at WrestleMania. But hey, watch the story play out, right?
Stories don't finish.
2 months of stalling, I'd say.
Yeah.
But this is where I feel like this is where we should have been at the end of Mania. Roman loses the title, blah, blah, blah. Let's move past that. But where do you think we're going to go? I mean, it's made me so excited for SmackDown.
Yeah, so
what do you think happens? Where do we go next?
I mean, is that so? Roman's advertised for Money in the Bank. So is that and there was a story was it was going to be a title defense, but what if it is just? I mean, I think you are going to do Usos versus Roman and Solo, because I still think you need to build to Solo turning on Roman as well.
Yeah.
They've teased on SmackDown as well when Roman bumped into him and was like, oh, sorry, didn't mean to do that. There was a really
that's a long build for me. That's Mania almost.
I think so as well, because there was someone made this point in the crowd while I was watching the match. When Roman decided to start the match, someone said to me, was like, Solo made that decision for him, because Solo just left the ring, and then Roman went, yeah, I'll start. I should start this.
I don't know. I think Roman put out his hand and was like, my turn now. I'm in control. I took it as that dynamic.
Okay. I didn't know right at the start because Roman started the match, and then he decided to tag out. But
okay.
Yeah, I thought it was really... I think there's an interesting angle to be taken with Roman and Solo still. But I think, maybe SummerSlam, you do Roman and... Problem is, though, where's the titles?
I mean, do you chuck in KO and Sami in this? Make it a three-way
No,
feud?
I don't need them feuding with the Bloodline anymore. Like, I need Kevin and Sami to move away from the Bloodline.
Well, they can then be on Raw. You make that more of a Raw thing, and we've got the Bloodline saga as it has been on SmackDown.
Yeah.
But I think you do branch off into a tag team feud of Bloodline Civil War, but we still get conflicted Jay.
Yeah.
As usual.
I mean, SummerSlam main event, or one of the SummerSlam main events, of the 5 they'll have, could be Jay and Roman for the titles. 2-3 years after they first had their matches over the belts, you do it. Do it again. You do it in Detroit.
That Sami, because he got so hot, it does distract you sometimes from the fact that the true Bloodline story started with Jay and Roman, and that is the long arc.
That's the end of
it.
Sami and Kevin are just bit parts to their story.
That's the elite of WWE. It's the gold, Hangman and Kenny saga.
I thought the match was so good. I thought the event was awesome as well.
Yeah, overall, really good show. Let's talk about the other two big things that happened. Really good opener. Although, compared to... I feel like things elsewhere on the show outshone it in the end, but it was a hot opener. Really well wrestled. Seth got the win in the end after selling the knee.
Yeah. There was a slightly wonky spot where Seth stomped AJ's hair.
And AJ didn't know whether he should sell it or not, so somehow did neither. He neither sold it nor did not sell it. That makes sense.
Yeah. Seth did a dive and sort of tweaked his knee, which became a big selling point of the match.
Yeah, Triple H presented Seth with the World Heavyweight Championship. Then we had, let me go through my notes, Trish and Becky had a really fun match. We got a debuting Zoe Stark.
Well, not she's had 2 matches on Raw.
A debuting Zoe Stark.
On pay-per-view, yes. But they are now, but as a debuting...
On premium live event.
A debuting tag act.
Yes.
Because Zoe Stark came from under the ring to attack Becky Lynch, rather, the other one that was there, Becky Lynch, with the Z360, or Z360 as we would call it here in England. And Trish got the win. Trish hit the Stratus faction and got the win, and they went up the ramp together. So, Zoe Stark and Trish Stratus as an act on Raw. Bring back Lita. There you go. There's another potential Money in the Bank SummerSlam match for you.
Yeah, that's definitely it feels like a trilogy feud. This was the first installment. Really good.
Really good.
Really fun match. Really good finish with that.
Got really good by the end.
For Trish heel faction.
Yeah.
Ali and Gunther, somehow match of the night for me.
I thought this is going to go one of 2 ways. It's either going to be a complete squash, or it's going to be the incredible babyface story of those that make you believe moments.
Or I thought there was a middle option, which is the Zelina Vega in Puerto Rico for Backlash, which is it's uber babyface. She gets a little bit, but ultimately super comfortable for the heel to win.
Yeah.
Ali got a lot near the end of this match, but my God, it just powered up Gunther.
It was so awesome.
Two effing clotheslines.
There
Brilliant.
was a moment in this match. I wasn't on the live stream reaction to this point. I was just in the crowd. Gunther did a move and it knocked Ali to the outside, and then he posed, and I screamed.
In delight. We had Bianca Asuka. Pretty mediocre match. Fine wrestling, but there's just no story. Bianca's stale. A lot of people here were booing Bianca.
Very
we saw
much
at
so,
Backlash at Puerto Rico. I wasn't really into it. And then the ending happened, where Asuka misses a mist. Tempest said that Asuka missed. And then watch it. So Bianca dodged that. So Asuka misted her own fingers, and when she was hoisted up into the KOD rack position, gouged Belair's eyes.
Yep.
And that was enough for a couple of super kicks for the win.
Yeah, she had a couple of kicks and then got the win. A bit of a limp finish, and not one that I really expected to see happen as well. But I think actually Dan Layton said this on the prediction video that we did over on the WrestleTalk podcast channel, which was just, well, they've hit the milestone now, so you may as well take the belt off Bianca. The only reason Bianca had the belt that long was so she could hit the milestone. They've done that, so what does she need the belt for? Put the belt on Asuka.
Yeah. Typical WWE thinking, but I think that you either had to turn Bianca heel or you took the belt off her because it had gone stale, and we were all delighted that Asuka won. So, subpar match, but exciting result, not even finish. Natalya Ripley was hilarious. Natalya got no moves in. Rhea Ripley threw into 2 sets of steel steps. Riptide won.
Amazing. Match of the night.
Dominic hugging her and celebrating was longer than the match.
Yeah, it was awesome.
And the final one we'll talk about is Cody Rhodes versus Brock Lesnar. Another really this was better than their first one, and I enjoyed their first one.
This, I think, is we talked about this on the Raw podcast last week when we talked about, is Cody Rhodes' storylines too cheesy? And we did a poll being is he too cheesy of a character? And it really was a 50-50 split. It was 58-42.
It was the same back in AEW.
It was the same back in AEW, and it was the same here as well. I was in the crowd watching this match. There were half of the people being like, this is awful. This makes no sense. How do you pass out from an armbar? This is really, really silly. And the other half being like, this is so cheesy and stupid, and I love it. And I think there's two camps here. And I fall into the cheesy, stupid, and I love it camp.
Yeah, so Luke just mentioned the finish there. Cody, after being dominated at the start, used his disadvantage, which was the casted broken arm, as a weapon. And he started laying it in on Brock. That sounds heelish, but I thought it worked really
well.
effectively for a smart babyface. But then Brock just kept on getting the Kimura lock in. Really tense, back and forth. One submission spot was just insanely good.
Cody was in that Kimura for a long time.
But in the end, he passed out, so Cody did lose, setting up a rematch, which is, fine. An actual bit of adversity.
Yeah.
Overall, I thought this was a terrific show. Loved every minute, mostly every minute of it. Got a bit bored in the Asuka Belair match. And for the WrestleTalk podcast, it looks like we raised about $1,500 for the charity Women in Sport, which is what we're doing for this. So thank you, everybody who watched there too.
Yes, that was everyone's Ultra Chat money going through to Women in Sport. And we had a raffle here at the live event that we did to win a replica Jam That Championship that we signed. Is he close by? He's just over there, looking at his belt. And yeah, we raised $1,500 that's going to go straight to Women in Sport. So thank you, everyone who contributed to that.
So please subscribe down below, press the thumbs up button, let us know what you thought of the pay-per-view premium live event in the comments down below. That was like Vince shouted in my ear then. And yeah, subscribe because we've got more videos about this tomorrow. We've got a news video, we've got my full review video, and we'll have our WrestleTalk podcast review, me and Luke, over on the WrestleTalk podcast channel. For now, jam that jam.
Jam that jam.